Hello and welcome. This Evo 2 has been laid up for about 5 years. I'm going to bring it back to life. So the first thing I need to do is, of course, the cam belt. So to do that, I'll need to remove the battery and its support. So this car has got air conditioning, which will make the job a bit trickier. So the first thing we need to do is to get plenty of access. So I'll remove the bonnet and the front bumper. That's done. I've lifted the battery out and now I'll remove the battery tray. Now all the fixings are obvious except for the last bolt down at the bottom there, which goes through the inner wing. So we must remove the front wheel and the front wing line to access the nut on that last bolt. So there's the fuel filter, the battery tray support, and there's the battery tray. So there are quite a few fixings for that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a load of nuts and bolts. Anyway, as luck would have it, several of them have sheared off on this, so we'll have to drill them out. But I'm going to take the battery tray over to the bench and we'll talk about it. This is the battery tray support. And it goes like that somehow. So that fixes into the chassis, and that is the bolt that goes through into the inner wing. So you've got to take the inner wing off. So that's the battery support. So that bolt sheared off, that bolt sheared off. Even though I did soak them with WD, I could really get them on top, but they're going to have to be drilled out. Right. Here's the battery in its tray, and it's secured in the tray by this, as you know, by this fitting, and that bolt, you undo that bolt, slacken that off, and you can lift the battery out. And there's the tray. Now this bolt screws into a metal insert. Now that can seize, and you can undo the bolt, and that starts to turn in the plastic, so that's pretty well scrap. So if that happens and this you can't undo that, don't force that, because you will break. The plastic isn't very strong and it will break that out. So I'll show you what to do. If you can't undo that, go behind the battery, and it's only secured by that. What you can do is you can like put a bar and just ease the battery out like that, and then you can take this off and you can sort this out, put some WD in and get that freed off. But if that is tight and you try and undo it, it will break that out of there. Okay. But this vehicle has air conditioning, so I'm not going to disconnect it, but we'll work around it. So this bolt here was seized, so I've drilled that out so we can lift that up. I've taken those bolts out of the back there, those 13mm bolts out of the back of the compressor, so we can get a bit of wiggle room on that. So we need to get that bolt out of there. So it's quite a long bolt, so we're going to have to somehow move this bracket and move that pipe so we can get that bolt out. Right, I've slackened off the tensioning pulley down there. Now it's a 20, right on the back of there, down there. There's a 22mm bolt, you can see it there. So I've slackened that off, and I can get the belt, taking the belt off the aircon compressor, so I've got a bit of wiggle room, so I can lift that up out of the way and we can get that bolt out. So let's do that. Now, before we can take this off, here, if you can see it, there is a 10mm bolt which secures the cover at the bottom of the bracket. So we've got to take that off before we can remove that. Right, there is the first of our problems with the clearance on the, let's see if I can get a light on that. We're not, that's not going to come out. So that's the first of many. You can see how close that is. We're going to have to undo the engine mounting and jack the engine up. So that's a bit better. So this car, like I say, it hasn't been used, hasn't been run for like 5 years or so. So what I'm going to do, because we're going to have to find top dead center, so I'm going to have to turn the engine over. So before I move the engine, I'm going to take the top off. I'm going to take the plugs out, lubricate the bores. I'm going to take the top off and put some oil on the camshafts before we turn the engine over. So we'll leave that till next time. What we've done today is good progress. Thank you for watching. Bye bye for now.